Hi everyone, this is a quick video tutorial for the transition between the Golden Rooster and the Snake Creeps Down in the 24 posture Simplified Tai Chi Form. I'm going away to China for all of next month, so my students need something to practice, and this is a particular movement that causes sticking for beginners. So I'm doing this for my students, but I'm also sharing it publicly on YouTube because this form is very popular and lots of people are maybe struggling with it. And if you look at other people doing the 24 posture Tai Chi, you'll often see Chinese champions going really, really low in this position, and that can be quite daunting for beginners. And then people try to go lower than they can do correctly, and then it's obviously not so good for the knees and hips. So I teach it in a method which is really easily achievable, even if you have limited mobility in your hips, or you're older and you can't drop into a crouch step. So I'll show two variations to help you. But the most important is you understand the position, the weight transfer, and so on. If you're not one of my students but you're watching this and you're working on the 24 and you find this helpful, please comment, let me know. Let me know if you find this useful. Like, share, subscribe, because it will help me a lot, so I appreciate that. Okay, so let's have a look at this motion. On the 24 posture form, after the Golden Rooster, there is a pivot and a step and a drop and a thread. And then Golden Rooster on the other side. So first thing that gives people a little bit of a challenge is how to pivot the foot while having weight on the foot. Now people say, oh, I can't do that. So here's what I say to them. Have your feet parallel, lift your heels off the ground, and now just twist like we did last summer, okay? Because everyone can do that, right? So again, lift your heels off of the ground so the weight's on the ball, and now practice using your hips to turn your feet. Okay, in this case I'm just in the middle, but I'm showing that what people say is like an impossible movement. This is some of the things my students have said, oh, that's really difficult. I say, if you do this, everyone can do it. So first get that. All of these things are sequential. If you struggle on this one and then you try the next one, it's a problem. You can do this, next one, no problem. Next thing I want you to do, I'm on one leg. When I put my right foot down, I'm also bending my left knee. So I'm lowering, I'm not lowering into my right leg, I'm lowering into my left leg, then I'm doing that twist. Okay, that requires no particular athletic ability at all. If you're struggling with it, it's probably just a coordination thing, so you take your time. Look at it from this side. I lower into my left leg and I pivot to my left. I'm on the balls of the feet, just like you did with the twisting exercise, okay? Again, I lower into my left leg and I twist. From here, I simply step out with my right foot. Now, here's the thing to remember. Again, people struggle on this because they shift their weight. My weight, of course, is in my left leg because my right leg's in the air. When I lower down, I keep the majority of my weight in my left foot when I pivot so that my right foot can step. That's the next thing for you to practice, okay? So I'm here, I lower, I pivot, I step. How far should you step? Well, again, if you're copying YouTube videos where people have this massive long step, and you find you can't sink into your stance yet, don't take a low step. The lower you can sink, the longer you can step. And I'd suggest to begin with, don't try. So here, just pivot where the foot wants to touch down is correct. Second detail, the line of the toes of my right foot is with the heel of my left foot. They are not on a straight line, this foot's slightly back, toe to heel. So often I practice here on the floorboards. You can see this floor is kind of on floorboards here. So if my left heel is on that floorboard, my right toe is on the same line. Okay, that's the second thing. So we lower down, we pivot, we step. Now, next bit, I need to turn my hips without my knee coming inwards. So this requires some opening of the quad, the inside of the hip joint. Again, don't force it, just only turn as much as you can without this knee coming in. This is Snake Creeps Down. From here, turn on the heels. So I'm going to turn my right foot first. I'm going to bend my knee. And as my hips turn, this time I'm turning on the heel of my left foot. So what happens is when my hips turn, my foot comes with it. You see that? hips turn, foot comes with it. My alignment is such that my weight, my front knee is in line with my big toe. Look at that from the side. I lower into my left leg. I step. Here is where I open my hips. I turn my head. So where I'm looking now, I turn my front foot first on the heel. I shift the weight, and as I turn my waist, my back foot turns. Notice my feet are not crossed. Now, one more little tip for you guys. If I come into Golden Rooster here, it's difficult to balance. I need to turn this foot out. Some people turn out like this, which is not wrong, but it's a little more challenging for balance. So what I find is to do that like this. Again, lift the heel and just bring the foot in. I haven't shifted the weight, I've just done that. Why? Because that will enable you to turn the waist and bring the left knee up. So, I turn the foot first, I transfer all of my weight to the front foot. I don't raise up until my left knee is ready to lift. So if you do this first and then lift your knee, it's incorrect. You transfer the weight, bring the foot through, and as I raise my knee, I come up. Right, that's probably the most difficult transition in all of the 24 posture form. But I really think if you break those individual bits down and you get each part, it's not difficult. It's only difficult if you try and do them all at once. So get each individual one, okay? Now, let me just recap those from the side view. I lower into my left foot. I turn on the balls of the feet. I step my right foot in line with my left heel. I turn my waist. I'm looking to the front. I turn my right foot. I shift my weight. As I turn my waist, my left foot follows. I adjust my right foot without shifting. I bring 100% weight into my right leg, and now I raise up. I strongly, strongly suggest that you don't even worry about the hands until you can do the feet. For the simple reason that in Tai Chi, all the arms do is follow the waist, and all the waist does is direct the energy from the feet. So the correct thing to do is stance right first, waist, hands will be the last thing. And people who find the hands difficult, it's only usually because your waist is in the wrong direction. And if your waist is in the wrong direction, it's often because the feet aren't quite right. So don't rush. However, I'm going to show it for your reference because as I say, I'm away for a month, so people want to have this for a reference. So here I'm looking at my right hand. As I lower down and I do this pivot, I raise my wrist. This feeling, imagine I have a piece of cotton on my trousers and I'm pulling it out, like drawing upwards. And I want to coordinate that with that pivot step. As I do that, my hand passes my face and finishes by my shoulder. Okay? Lower down, pick the cotton. I'm looking at my wrist here. When I do that toe heel step, I can lower my right hand. Now, from here, I'm going to turn so the back of my hand faces my leg, and I'm going to imagine my hips are pushing back and my hand is reaching towards my foot. This is snake creeps down. This is a modified version. Snake creeps down. So you don't need to be super mobile to do this. As I turn my foot, my right hand comes up, my left hand lowers and rotates. So the final position, look at the hook hand. This is like single whip. As it lowers, it rotates. So my fingers point upwards. Common beginner mistake is to sort of wrap the arm up behind the back. Is not correct. Keep the arm in the same line and the other hand just comes straight up the front. This motion is threading. This is called piercing. Threading is along the leg. Piercing is the fingers going upwards. As I do that little adjustment with my right foot, my left hand, which is a hook, opens here. So can you see the coordination of my left hand and my right foot? Now my left hand goes through, my weight is 100% on my right leg, and as my hand comes up, my knee comes up, almost as if there's a piece of string connecting them. Up. My right hand presses down, the crown of my head is up. So by count, so when you're practicing this at home, do it one step at a time. Get the feet first, then add the hands. Do not rush. That's the secret. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's all it is. Repetition, practice. So here's my advice to you. Lower, look at your wrist, step. That will be 3, 4. Turn on the right heel 5, the left heel 6. Adjust my front foot 7, and finally 8. So without trying to go super low or make it super difficult, get it right first. You can always, once you find it easy, you can maybe say, oh, I wonder if I can like drop a little more and extend the posture a little more. And then of course from here you have to have the strength in the legs then to come up. So that may take time, well that will take time, but it's not the most important thing. Get the steps right first and get the form technically correct. And if you want to, you can gradually go lower, but it's by no means necessary, and it's way better to do it correct and high than low down and struggling and losing your balance and so on, because it should feel very comfortable, very easy, very relaxed. Okay, so I made this video probably too long, but I hope you guys use this as reference for when I'm on holiday. The rest of you who are not my students, I hope you find something useful. If you're interested in learning Tai Chi or Hapgar Kung Fu online, my online academy, I have a link in the description, has almost 1,000 lessons, because I started uploading lessons during the first COVID lockdown and I'm still doing them every week. So there is 1,000 lessons, and there is also an interactive community where you send me videos and I give you corrections. So it's very much a coaching platform rather than just a passive learning. So it is a good way to really make some progress. Just drop me a message if you're interested in that. And I hope you all have a great summer and enjoy your practice. Good health.